Women are women.
What?
That's a
Well,
reference
okay.
to a
Well,
podcast Paul and I were listening to.
We're recording now, though.
Oh, we are? I didn't know you started.
welcome
Look at
to welcome to another episode of Teen Titans Go, the podcast where
That's
we
not
are
what our
not.
podcast is called.
Wait, oh my God, where we are not professionals, as I was going to say, because
over.
it's Teen Titans Roll. God damn it. No, fuck it. We're doing it live, not starting over. Um, so yeah, we're here for the third part of the episode How Long is Forever? And since the answer to that is probably not this last part, then I think without further ado, we'll just get into this poorly constructed and possibly very rambly answered question that we have for this week. So the question we have is, I guess by me, uh, is what is your favorite? I will say either individual example of time travel in a work of fiction. I would assume that no one has actual experience with time travel, though if you do, I'd be interested in that. Or like if you don't have a specific example, but you have like a preferred way in which it is handled, I would also be interested in that as an answer. So yeah, does anyone have any thoughts about time travel as it's very applicable to our episode today?
I've got an example. I greatly enjoy, or at least I mention a good bit, the time travel in the Air Affair, which is a book that's kind of weird and twisty, but believe it or not, the main character never actually engages with time travel herself. But in the very first chapter, she's on a date with a guy, and all of a sudden, time just stops around her, and she's like, "Dad!" Because every now and then, her dad just stops time and comes and visits her and asks her questions because he's apparently a rogue time cop and that people are looking for. But he always just asks very simple things about history. The first time he asks her think something like, "Hey, who won the Battle of the Falklands? And how did they do it?" And she's like, "Dad, of course the British won. General A came over the hillside and did this." And then several times in the rest of the book, we're just reading, and all of a sudden, time stops. Dad shows up and is like, "Hey, daughter, who won the Battle of the Falklands? How did it happen?" "Dad, everybody knows that the Russians won that. General B threw a bomb in this direction." And he's like, "Okay." And
I get
it
it.
never explains it. It's just that's how it's always been. And we
Yeah.
don't know what he's up to. All we know is she firmly believes, and it has always been this way. And this way changes every now and then.
Yeah. That's funny actually.
Great.
I feel like it's also probably just a funny little like metaphor for like, you know, like how it feels when your parents like like budge in with some weird, like maybe to you petty feeling like request or question or something. Always feels like inconvenient, like it grinds your like it can feel like it grinds whatever you're doing to a halt just through the sheer force of them being your parents and asking you something, and you're like, this is always the most inconvenient time for you to call me. It's like but yeah, that is, I like that. That's creative about just like, oh, he's changing stuff around and using her as like a testing method and for changing. Yeah. So anyone else have a thought?
My answer is Steins Gate. It is my favorite anime, and I think it does time travel like incredibly well. I feel like other things have tried to do like Steins Gate like time travel, but
Yeah.
it's worse.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Ever since then, like that's kind of been my scale for compare, because I'm a big like time travel like media fan, and every time I see something, I'm like, was it as good, or like I haven't found anything better than it. Well, Homestuck is more complicated. I will say that's probably better in the complexity scale, but it's my favorite. Steins
Yeah.
Gate's my favorite.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like Steins Gate is funny because it is both a really good depiction, like even from whatever we think we know about time travel scientifically in theory of time travel, like even like close to like that, like there's that that indie movie about it. What was that
What,
called?
Primer?
Yeah, Primer. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of almost Primer level, but it
Yeah.
is also a ridiculous visual novel adaptation. So
I
it's
love
like,
how weird and like kind of like not realistic but like down to earth it
Mhm.
kind of like it even
Yeah.
like calls to like John Teeter or John Titer or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
like that
yeah,
whole like
Teeter.
time travel like thing that people were like, is this a real time traveler? Like
Yeah,
it's
I
it's
yeah, I
yeah.
love that stuff. It's also, yeah, it's like that. It's ingrained in like early internet,
Oh yeah.
like just myths essentially that were still possible to exist on the internet. uh it's just like weird corners of society that would generate
Yeah,
like
it gets really into like
rumors.
the conspiracy and the like
Hmm.
how I like how it kind of feels like that's how like normal people would react when like it, all that just suddenly happens and they kind of get like thrown into the thick of it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I kind of feel like I'm. So the question that I have is resetting to a specific point technically time travel?
Hmm.
Because it's like kind of like Groundhog Day, a
Yeah,
little bit where you're like
I would consider
replaying
it,
the
I
same.
think.
Like I
yeah,
feel like
it's like a time loop you're stuck
Yeah,
yeah,
in.
it's a
I
time
feel like
loop.
that
Kind of time
one I
travel.
tend to like better than even like most of like time travel.
Right,
Like I
right.
mean, I like the time travel, like kind of like how they did it in the Flash with Flashpoint and like different things like that. Like I kind of like that, but like I like the like where like you're almost stuck in a time loop. And then like one of the movies that I really enjoy is Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise.
I love
Yes.
that movie.
Yeah.
And
That
I like
movie's
how it's
got
just
so
like
much sauce.
he has to die and then resets to the same point, and he's just
Mhm.
like basically memorizing up until like what he has to do until like the next to like get further along in the process.
Yeah, I'm also a big fan
Yeah.
of time loops.
Yeah.
Happy Death
I think
Day.
that's probably
Happy
my
Death
favorite like
Day,
kind
yeah, Groundhog
time
Day.
travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
ReZero.
that's cool stuff.
ReZero. Oh yeah.
Yeah, ReZero is very good with that
Oh
too.
my God.
They did a
If
great job with that.
If someone hasn't already, we need like the meme needs to be made of like one of those like hello so and so from whatever. Like it needs to be like hello you know, like what's his name from ReZero again? It's a fucking car company almost. It's
What is it?
Subaru.
Subaru.
Yeah,
Subaru.
Like
yeah. It's like, oh, hello, whatever, Subaru from ReZero, and then it's like, oh, hello, Tom Cruise's character from Edge of Tomorrow.
oh, hello, Bill Murray.
Yeah.
The Stargate episode of the time loop
Oh.
was great.
Yeah.
Listen, ReZero did the best with that because there's the one episode that he is like he couldn't get past. I forget.
Mhm.
It's like he couldn't get past a certain point and basically had like a panic attack
Yeah.
with it where he's just freaking out. It's just like No, I feel you, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
It'd be the same way after you die like 500 times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ReZero is one of the greatest things ever.
It's so funny because you watch it and you're like, oh yeah, another dumb isekai, but then you're like, actually, this has the sauce. But yeah.
But anyway, Homestuck.
Oh God. do you want to go there? I know nothing.
I mean,
I
Homestuck's
don't either.
time travel is so like, again, I know there's some debatable issues with the writing, especially the post-canon writing. But it's so complex and well woven that Avengers Endgame stole it all and then did it shittier.
Do you actually think like that like Kevin Feige or whatever was like in the writer's room and was just like he just had like a Kindle or some shit in his hand and was just like scrolling through it and it was like and like as people were talking in the writer's room every once in a while he'd give some like insane like input and maybe like only like an intern in the corner was like, oh my God, he's reading Homestuck.
That's my experience at all time watching things. I'm just like, oh my God, they're doing Homestuck. Like usually Homestuck did it first.
Oh my God.
But nobody knows because Homestuck is impossible to read.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, once or twice I've thought about reading it, and then I pull it up, I'm like, why am I reading this trash?
The difficulty is part of what makes me like it so much, honestly.
I understand.
Yeah.
Man.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And you're like, oh, Andrew Hussey's a genius for piecing this together. And then you read the epilogues and you're like, oh, maybe he wasn't actually. But anyway.
To be fair, when I say, why am I reading this trash, I mean, I probably didn't get past the first panel. Like, literally did not give it a chance.
You have to get really far before it even starts feeling like a story.
It starts and feels like a shit post for a really long time. And probably the whole thing.
I don't know if I would have made
my
it.
life.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have made it if I hadn't been in my pretentious like literary phase in college, oddly enough. That needed
Yeah, there are a lot of things like that they start as a no-budget fan thing, so like the beginning of it's just like, all right, and then about a quarter of the way in, they find their ground and go, and it's amazing.
But yeah, in general, the time travel is very like it's like a multi-branching thing where like the idea is that
so
there's one alpha timeline, and if anything, if time travel causes anything to go off of that path, then it basically gets deleted by the universe, and like all the people in there like die or whatever. So you've got lots of like tons of different iterations of every character interacting, and also a major staple is just like things being self-causing, like something being true because it caused itself to be true by traveling back in time and stuff.
like
stable time loops. Yeah.
Causal time loops. Yeah.
Nonsense like that.
For sure. Oh man.
Bill and Ted be like, we left keys in this place. We'll do it in the future. Oh look, here they are. They're right here right now. Because we did it in the future.
Oh my God. I have so much respect as a DM who is DMing an episode of a show with time travel in it, even though it's fairly self-contained as far as time travel goes. I have so much respect for the the episodes of the Film Reroll podcast where they re-rolled that movie, and it was just like I know it just feels so impossible, but like shout out to Paulo Quiros. You are a god amongst game masters. He fucking handled it somehow.
Okay, but I mean, I guess spoilers for another. Well, can we fan about other podcasts in this? Are we allowed to talk about that?
I think so.
Because
I mean, it's an example in fiction, so yeah.
Yeah, so in the podcast Dungeons and Daddies, there is a part where near the end one of the characters travels back in time to do something, and the players and the editor gathered together and
Oh my gosh.
edited a scene into an early episode, and then made the DM listen and find it.
That they did that, and it was so good. Like into an earlier episode that was already released. Like they edited it into it, and
Now if you
Yeah.
listen, that's in there, and you'll be
Yeah.
like, "What does that mean?" Like until you get to
there
70
later.
episodes later.
there is some incredible like backwards tracking production that goes into some podcasts that that I very much admire. I mean, I will let you in on the fact that just as it happens in the episode, I will clip a little bit of the scene from the first part of this episode into whenever you return at the end, like it is in the original episode of the show.
Again, I can't wait to see how you handle Go.
Yeah.
The episode that's our backstory.
Go.
Because we'll have to get it. What do we have to get it right? Or
I don't know. Yeah.
It'll be 80 years before we get there. So
yeah. Yeah. So Charlie, what? Oh, sorry. I just didn't finish the
No,
question.
I'm just kidding. I actually I don't have as good of one as everybody else, but I really liked the anime called Erased and how they handled time travel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just having foreknowledge.
That's a good anime.
For sure.
That's all I got.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
I would really like to say something funny, but I never finished watching Erased.
Oh jeez.
Heard it's good though.
Yeah. I also kind of like butterfly effect types of like time travel.
Oh, so I mean, so that's an interesting question. So like, how do you feel like about butterfly effects? Like, because I wasn't even thinking about it until you brought it up, actually, because no one else brought it up either. But like, I like butterfly effects that are like, oh, you fuck something up, like little, but that is in fact like an issue in the timeline. But I don't like butterfly effects that are like literally a butterfly's like a effect, like what is the like that video game, the where suddenly there's a tornado at the end of it because they time travel too much. Like,
listen,
I don't.
I could shit talk Life is Strange.
I could shit talk Life is Strange too.
Yes, I feel like
I'm like, if the game or the world gives you the power to time travel and it punishes you for using it, like that's just fucked up, right? Like universe,
right.
Like what the hell?
There's so many pitfalls for you to fuck it up on your own that I feel like creating, like making time, like you got to be really careful making time like a force of nature, literally. You know, I mean, there's all sorts of like immune response type writing with time travel, but I the type that I like the least is a butterfly being displaced spatially in a timeline is going to create a tornado. I don't know enough to know if that's realistic or not, and I don't like it by instinct.
Oh, that reminds me of Orson Scott Card's Past Watch: The Redemption of Christopher Columbus, which is I guess the short explanation is you're in a dystopian future. Lots of technology is just garbage, everything's bad, except they did develop one technology, which is being able to watch the past, like literally just look back on it. So they're recreating a history. And then they can actually look at it. It's a very recent technology, but they're at one point in the story they're watching Christopher Columbus, and he has a famous shipwreck, and he's just cast overboard and is crawling up onto a desert, like half drowned, and all of a sudden a old man in a robe and basically the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit show up. Like there's a dove, there's an old man in a robe, there's all this. And the people doing Past Watch are just looking at this and like, wait, did we just prove God? And it takes them a minute to realize that this isn't the first time that this has happened in history. Apparently, on another timeline, they found out how to send somebody back into time to fix something, and they decided to fix this by sending God to Christopher Columbus and telling him to go discover the New World. But apparently that wasn't good enough, so the real meat of the book is them deciding, okay, we have to send a person back in time to one place where it fixes everything and there's no horrible dystopian future. And the second you step foot in that old history, we're all dead. We're all gone. Everything will have changed because you just being there will change everything. And long story short, it means basically making Native American overlords. But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty.
So, like, did they see like this depiction of God the Father, like the Trinity, because they were also being sent a "Oh, look, God is telling you to change things" message? Is that
so? Well, okay. So somebody had just discovered that it might be possible to send somebody back and change things. And right after that discovery, they saw this and they realize they're not the first universe in history that has discovered that you can send something back.
Yeah.
This depiction of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit was on another timeline before that decided to fix history at this exact moment.
So
and
they,
the second they sent back the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, basically some old dude dressed up, everything changed. The whole timeline changed, and this new timeline where Christopher Columbus met God is the new timeline. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think that makes sense, in a sense of like creating new history, but now it was always history the whole time.
Right. It's basically them realizing that they're not the first one to have this idea, and for history to have basically been erased and restarted at a certain point.
But maybe they were, right? Because it's like it's a causal time loop, so it's like maybe they were the ones who did it and then recognized it later, maybe.
But it maybe I have to think about that.
Yeah, that's always the thing that gets
I think
wonky.
It's implied that it couldn't have been that way, but I don't remember an explanation.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah. So for me, I've been having thoughts about this because I've been working on this episode, obviously, and thinking about how it is actually consistent with how DC Comics handles time travel, in terms of like, can you change it? Can you change the past? And that question about paradoxes and stuff. And it's made me think a lot about whether or not I like that being the case. And I've been watching a show. I've been watching the second season of Star Trek Prodigy, which is really good. And it's a shame that since it's a kids show that people will probably skip it, because frankly, like, a lot of people already weren't interested enough to watch Picard, and hey, fair enough. But it honestly, like, does, like, this Nickelodeon show is doing more to progress older characters, like from Voyager and a little bit from other shows, storylines in the Star Trek universe, and like just kind of just progress the overall Star Trek narrative, like, since I think since Voyager. Like, so it's like it's actually has incredible sauce. I will give spoilers that if you've watched The Next Generation, what everyone and if you've watched anything beyond that, what everyone is wondering has always been, what the fuck happened to Wesley Crusher? like,
Yeah.
like what is he doing? Like he went off to be a traveler to work on time and stuff, but like and like go on an adventure and then just really disappeared off the face of the franchise. Well, he's back now. Like he did come back a little bit at the end in Picard, but he is like full back now in Prodigy, and it's just like I don't know. It's a choice because I mean they're doing what they can do production wise, but which is a 3D animated kids show, not a big long spanning multi-season live action thing. But that just gets into the state of television. The point is, I'm doing an ADHD tell a story ramble, but it all feels necessary to me. It's all connected. I'm just that guy with the fucking the board from the conspiracy board from It's Always Sunny. So so I'm watching that show and it's doing kind of a will they or like can they like a will they won't they with whether or not time can actually be changed, right?
Not usually how will they, won't they?
I know it's not a will they won't they, but it's well, but it's like it's a will they won't they about it, because they set out to rectify a time travel situation that a character is in, right?
Yeah.
By being like, okay, well, we've fucked up and we've traveled in time, and we've been noticed, but maybe we were the ones that caused this all along. So let's bring that about. And even Starfleet has like protocols for that. Like, oh yes, you can sometimes create a causal time loop and fix the problem, which is kind of a question of like, are you actually changing the past or not? If you create a seamless loop. But they kind of fucked that up.
How many times has this happened that Starfleet has regulations on?
Oh, it's happened plenty of times throughout the show. The movies, even the original movies with time travel. But it's like, so it's and so they have examples of like, oh, if you find yourself having time traveled or needing to time travel, or you time travel and it seems like, oh no, the events are not happening how it said they do, you could maybe take a hand in it. But then it comes up the question about like, should you do that or not? But in this case, they fuck it up, right? They almost succeed, but they fuck it up. But just through this whole thing of them running around and trying to avoid the fucking monsters that come through the tear in time that to like eat them and shit that happens, which might be an example of what I was talking about with like the tornadoes stuff, but I don't know, they're cool looking monsters, so I don't care as much. It's all like, but it's like, well, they're the main characters and they're probably going to succeed in the end, right? So it's like they will probably protect the main timeline and fix it. So even though they messed up now, it just like creates a new causal time loop that they have to tie together with a bow. So it's like a question of like, my point is, it's not as definitive yet about if you can change things as this episode of uh of Teen Titans is, right? This episode is his Warp's history is he steals the clock, and so he knows that he'll succeed in stealing the clock because his theory of time travel says it was predestined to happen.
I mean,
so
history is wrong, so
yeah, I know, but it turns out that actually the individual does have influence over their own fate as soon as and that somehow the Teen Titans are able to stop him, and bring the clock back to their time. And that is actually how DC works. Even if you just have watched the Young Justice show with like the second season with Impulse coming back in time and saying, I'm here to change stuff because the future's really bad. And then like changing the future, but then his counterpart in in the future realizes, oh, it wasn't enough. Like more needs to change. Like there's more going on than we expected. But stuff does change. Like the changing the past does change the future. It's also a very anti like alternate timelines perception of fiction. It's like it's not like a branching timeline like Dragon Ball Z is, for instance. Like Dragon Ball Z is like Trunks goes back in time to change the future, but it doesn't actually change his future. He still has to go back to the future and kill Android 17 and 18. So it's like, yeah, that's just which is so unfortunate for Trunks. He literally just goes back in time so that he can train with with his dad, so he can be strong enough. That's what he does. It's always the good guys always succeed, right? So they get the clock, they change the future for the good, right? They stop a theft from ultimately happening. But would you want to live in a setting where that is something that can possibly happen, or would you rather live in a setting where the future is assured, where it is written in stone, like Warp says it is?
Right, because bad people could re-get the clock.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's why the DC universe is always under like existential threat of this of time travel, because anyone like somebody can always flashpoint it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know. So I don't know if anyone has any thoughts about that, or if I just rambled for too long.
I think I zoned out.
Now everyone is sleepy.
After the question, how many times has
One of the
the
rants
universe
I listened
already
to.
been flashpointed and we don't know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sounds like one of those rants I listen
Anyways.
to and I'm trying to fall asleep.
No. My controversial take is apparently that that rants like this are interesting, not sleepy.
It's
Yeah,
my
you can-
my
I'll listen to it again when I listen to the podcast. I'm the only one who does, yo.
my controversial
Oh shit!
my controversial take is that it's hard to talk about time travel without sounding like a huge fucking nerd.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Which I am.
I don't talk about my interests. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh my
Like in
god.
Legacy of Kain, am I right?
Look, I'm trying really hard not to mention it, okay?
Yo, why didn't you say that's your favorite? Is it not?
It's actually not. It's like my second.
That's fair. That's
Wait,
fair.
what
It's my
is this? I'm
favorite
not
in the sense
I'm
that
not-
I love the game and really don't care about the time travel specifically.
Yeah.
Although there is
It's-
this one scene. Anyway, okay.
Time travel is just there so that they can have profound conversations about the nature of destiny.
I really need to
Point
play
enough
Soul
times.
Reaver 2. I've only ever played Blood Omen 1 and Soul Reaver 1, and so all I know is like at the end of Blood Omen 1, Kane just like kills the Time Reaver, and the Time Reaver's like, "Hey, I knew this was gonna happen, but I see your future, and in it you're dead. Foolish Time
Pretty
Reaver. I'm already dead. As are you." And he kills him. And
Yep.
so you just all you know is somewhere in the series. I don't know. Does the Soul Reaver not die? I don't know how this all pans out.
It's very complicated and there's a lot of time travel, and you should play the second game.
I should.
Not Blood Omen, but
Yeah.
Soul Reaver 2.
Soul Reaver
Soul
2.
Reaver
Blood
2
Omen
is
2,
very
I
good.
remember I played, and it was fine. I know it existed to fix a few time issues,
No,
but
it doesn't.
overall it was
It's
just
actually the
fine.
odd one out in this story.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
It's
I
made by
know
different
by reputation.
developers, and
Yeah, no, I know by reputation it's not considered the greatest, but I think it really was just made to shore up a few weird weaknesses, but also created a lot of weird random stuff.
yeah, you should play
Eh,
Soul Reaver 2.
whatever.
I'm just
I remember
saying.
not hating it though.
I'm gonna stop nerding out now. Because I will talk about Soul Reaver all night if you guys let me.
I literally think Blood Omen 2 was actually my first game in that series. And then I went back and played, I think, maybe Blood Omen 1 and then Soul Reaver 1.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
All right.
Raziel is really hot but has no interest in sex. But Kane has sexual energy and he's really ugly.
Ain't that how it
He
be?
definitely has sexual energy.
accurate.
It's like this aura, but he kind of ugly with the
He's
wrinkles.
so ugly.
Like...
I'm like, really? This is the
so
guy
ugly,
who's the game is about?
It's
Cool.
the abs, I swear. He's wearing the cloak where it just reveals his abs.
I don't know what the fuck any of you are talking about, but I love it.
Have you seen Raziel at the beginning of Soul Reaver 1 while he's still in his vampire form?
Oh man!
I don't know. That guy's kind of ugly.
No!
Wait!
What the hell?
Wait, what?
This is why we don't do controversial takes.
Are you saying that Raziel, like the original Raziel the vampire's hot? Hold on, I gotta pull up this guy.
Post the pictures.
incredibly
Post
hot.
the pictures.
Yeah, all the women here disagree with you.
Yeah.
And Johnny is like, no, I am straight, but my opinion on men's attractiveness is.
Okay, I'm looking at the guy. Okay, he has some chiseled features, I'll admit.
I'm posting.
He's weird looking.
Post the pictures. Because I will say, generally, men and women have very different opinions about what makes attractive men and women,
Yeah,
and then also on an individual basis, that can be very different too. So
all right,
I want to see these pictures.
This is Kane.
This is Kane.
I'm posting. Hold on. I
oh my god, yes! I can't believe we're doing this.
All right, Kane. What the fuck is going on with Kane? He has a fucking crab hand.
Well,
I guess he's not.
I'm just kidding.
Look at that guy. He's got a butt cut.
Why is he wearing a pizza cape?
It's supposed to be brown, but it isn't red.
Are either of these characters supposed to be relatively attractive at all?
I mean,
no.
The second one definitely is.
So.
Hold on, let me see if I can find Raziel from Blood Omen 1 and see what he looked like when he was human.
I mean, like Raziel after he has his transformation is definitely hot.
Yeah, he's definitely hotter.
I think
after it, of course.
In a weird kind of way.
He has no organs and no lower jaw.
He's got glowy eyes. And
where are her organs?
I mean, look at that. Look at him.
Oh yeah,
and
that gets me going.
He works out.
Oh yeah, I mean that's hot. I always thought that was hot. I'm not gonna lie.
He's the best.
He wears no pants. He's got no ribs.
If you're driving while listening to this podcast and can't look up images, fuck you.
Look, he doesn't have a face, okay? But if you ignore the fact that he doesn't have a face, he's pretty hot.
Yeah, but he gets a mouth that opens really wide when he devours souls.
Yeah.
Oh, hot
you didn't even send a good picture.
That sounds really useful.
I'd make it useful.
Oh my god. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm just sitting here watching this just devolve into madness.
It's been 40 minutes, guys.
I told you not to bring it up.
We're at at this point.
Sorry, we're playing. We're in the
Okay.
yeah.
And with that out of the way forever, that is how long forever is.
God, I love him. Stop posting pictures of him.
Let's get to this episode of Teen Titans Roll.
What?
Okay, now time to dive into genuinely a portion, like the point that where these episodes sometimes get to where my only like little strips of my notes of the timeline of the episode is relevant anymore. Which
You
is
got to do the thing that I
always
did.
exciting.
You got to do the thing that I didn't go die and be like, I got to make up somebody for them to fight real fast.
No. Okay. So, where we are now, after having teleported herself and Starfire behind behind Warp and catching him off guard and restraining him with telekinesis, Starfire and Raven now have confront the restrained time traveler on a rooftop in the snowy weather. It's no longer quite blizzardy anymore. The snowfall has pretty much stopped, but it is still a snow-covered land. Also, something I forgot to mention that is actually very important world detail. There's like robots like everywhere
Yeah, I
in
was
this
gonna say
version of the episode.
robots everywhere.
Yeah, there's like Starfire, like you would have absolutely noticed, like in your vision, that there are these little weird, like all no consistent like design, but just a relative like kind of like little robots, small to medium size, occasionally large size, that in terms of the size categories, robots with like red eye, or well, I guess you wouldn't be able to tell what color they would originally have been, but from your vision you would assume also red eyes, of little spider bots and things like that. And you just see them broken and like just scattered all over the place, scavenged, torn apart by scrappers for a long time since, but still so many of them that they still poke out of the snow from place to place on the streets of Jump City.
Okay.
And all of you guys who live in this time period know where they came from that day when that villain Fix-It erupted from the ground about 20 years ago and wrecked shit for the whole city.
Wait.
And kind of made Jump City and like a dead zone.
The apocalypse guy of Jump City's name is Mr. Fix-It.
It's just Fix-It.
He's just like the bastard son of Bob the Builder
from Wreck-It Ralph. Yes. No, we'll get to that later. But to finish establishing the scene,
the lineage of the bastard son of Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes. I can fix it. Yes. So that is where Star and Raven are, and the rest of our characters are now rushing towards the scene. Cyborg fixing up, kind of jerry rigging a battery pack so that he can be mobile again. And everyone else rushing towards Starfire and Raven's location beacons. But they are not quite there yet. So we return to this rooftop and a conversation potentially. So Warp is there. He's restrained for right now in dark energy. Starfire, you notice the dark energy that he is sheathed in. It has the white outline around the darkness that Raven's like weird powers takes. This version of her powers, that white outline like kind of glows even brighter and like almost extends beyond its like there were thinner lines before that just created this sort of like weird effect, but now they glow brighter beyond um their their outline. um and it's an interesting aspect of difference, just something you might notice. Um but he is there, um like kind of squirming and struggling, but he is restrained. Um and he says, I guess I will just do the like back from commercial style, him kind of repeating what he said. He goes, well, it appears you caught me at a bad time. And you notice that he is also older, though not as, like, it doesn't seem like he aged as much as your friends, but
Right.
he was older to begin with, so he does also look older.
Right. Actually, while we have him held, I would actually like to really quick. Is there like a downed robot body anywhere nearby?
I would say there's probably like a clump of 3 on this rooftop area.
Cool.
Maybe this building would have some crashed into the side, and like of the walls, like into some of the rooms of the building. Like I'll say there's like a hole in one of the like apartment sides. And but that, other than that, you'd have to fly down to the street and pull stuff out of the snow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very fast, so I'm just gonna nab
Yeah.
one as a souvenir real quick.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say, you will take us back to. Sorry, you will take me back to my time.
Oh, well, that take you back. I'm sure we could arrange some transport. But you would have to give me access to that regulator. My vortex regulator. He kind of like gestures with his chin at your belt where you have it clipped.
Yeah, yeah. I am going to try to do insight to see if he is the fucking with me.
The fucking with you. Okay.
My roll is
15.
15. Yeah.
Okay, let me. All right. So, what in particular are you hoping to gain insight about for this check?
I want to know if he actually needs it in order.
Okay. So it does seem. So you look at him. It seems that this piece, he was never able to like replace this piece after you took it. And he hasn't like bothered to fix the port where it is. And it seems from his words that, as far as that, he does seem he does seem to want, yes, he does seem to want the vortex regulator. He does seem to need it. You can gather that, I would say, fairly assuredly. As to any other intentions, you don't pick anything up other than just his feeling, or just his expressed truth that he does need the regulator. I will say, Raven, you will, with your passive insight, pick up more from him. However, I would like you to roll your intelligence, since you are just you're kind of still, you've been shaken out of a lot with Starfire's presence. Oh, yeah, there you go, intelligence. That will actually do it. A 16 is good enough. So with a 16, you have the presence of mind to be paying full attention, and you get the sense that while he definitely needs this vortex regulator, that he definitely plans to try to fuck you guys over at some point along the path to taking Starfire back to her time.
I'm gonna give him a light tap on the ground, since I'm holding him down,
Mm-hmm.
just to be stop, stop lying, that kind of motion.
Okay. So you just kind of knock him against the ground,
Yeah, when he tries to lie, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So he is kind of has a shit-eating little smirk, but then but as he's answering Starfire, but then you just kind of knock him into the roof again. Ugh! He's got what? Wait! Whoa! Hey! What is this? What is this about? We all want the same thing here, assuredly. And with that, I think that it's more apparent that he was hiding something that your friend picked up on, Star.
I bonk him again.
Okay. No, please.
My friend Raven here, she can read the minds. So if you send me back and she finds that you have sent me to the wrong place or the wrong time, she can tear your lungs from your body.
Okay. Make an intimidation check with advantage.
I just smile.
I don't even know if that's true or not, but it's definitely advantageous to say it.
I'm just going with it.
Oof.
With advantage?
Okay.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a 14 with advantage.
14.
The first one was a 1.
Yeah, first one was a 0.
Oh, 0.
But 14 is actually good enough in this circumstance. He's starting to remember, even after 10 years or whatever it's been for him, that you guys did kind of wreck his shit before, and now some of you are adults. So he's like, okay, yes, we will need to go to, there is a place in town here that, a guarded facility that the government still uses. It still has, the pieces it still has things that I need in order to reattach my vortex regulator. We will have to go there, and acquisition some of those supplies in order to return to your time or to do any type of time travel with my suit.
Do you mean stealing?
Oh, God. He's just he just is like, where have you been for the last, never mind. Yes, I mean, it is under guard. They are very unlikely to give it over freely.
If parts are needed, my friend Cyborg will have them.
Oh, I highly doubt it. They are much more cutting edge. That's why they're under guard.
I think we should bring him to Cyborg. Paul is like, hey, if this timeline is going to cease to exist, what's it really matter? But I don't think Paul think like that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It helps that I don't remember the exact details of how she got back in the episode off the top of my head.
Right. But as far as what he said, Raven doesn't pick up on any deceit in it. He seems to be honest about what he needs to repair his suit, at the very least. You guys, what would you guys like to do with him? You still have him restrained there. I will just make a couple general checks, because it's very unlikely that he's able to resist the telekinesis, but gotta.
I'll call Cyborg.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Go ahead and do that.
I keep forgetting I have a phone.
Yeah.
Cyborg. The Cyborg.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Oh, you are.
Hold on.
You are already coming?
Whoa.
That's what she said. Sorry. Sorry, I'm trying to get a battery pack hooked up in here. I figured, I was like, oh crap, Starfire's here, and I'm not doing anything, and I figured I'd go say hey, and see if you need any help or something.
Could you help us repair a time vortex device without theft?
Oh yeah, I've spent a long time contemplating time and the flow of time. I think I've got this.
And you actually have spent a lot of time thinking about his tech. And while it is from a time that's past where you are even now, you have thought about it a lot, and you think you could use your sonics projection technology in order to kind of expand whatever to stabilize a portal. However, you also know that a portal would first need to be open, and then you would need to have his vortex regulator attached to yourself in order
Mhm.
to stabilize the portal. You can't currently create a portal on your own as far as temporal stuff goes. I know you have done interdimensional stuff, but that actually does work differently in the DCU than time travel. If a stable portal is created, you can, or if a portal is created, you can keep it open. I mean, the point is you can help, but the circumstances might have to be more specific.
Yeah, I just actually remembered how she got back in the episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, man, I've got a sonic expander. It's real cool. I'll hook it up to myself. Wait, am I coming to you or are you coming to me?
You're
Well,
almost done with the power packet at this point. Like just a few more minutes.
Yeah, okay. Look, I've only got like 5, maybe 10. Look, I'll be there soon. Okay.
okay, we will wait.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Good, very, very good. I'll get this done then.
So as you are talking there, so are you going? Is your plan to stay put and wait for Cyborg to meet you in
Yeah.
town?
Yep.
Okay. So you just continue to hold him then with the telekinesis.
Yeah, I did want to ask Raven what she knows about the robot uprising.
What do I know about the robot uprising?
Right. So going back to, I'll just
Might
reveal
not be
to
asking the best person, but
yeah, going back to the group chat that I made for them, Paul,
Yeah.
in order to do a little bit of roleplay prep for them. So basically, what I say is that they did experience it. There was a crazy robot invasion shortly after Star disappeared. How long after exactly? It's hard to recall. It was 20 years ago.
Fantastic. So it's not a day that we live in infamy or something like that.
Like, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, I will say the things that still stick out to you. So, some things about the chaos was very memorable.
Right.
You were all basically not a team anymore. You each individually tried to fight and save as many as possible. You didn't save everyone. Cinderblock ended up being the unsung hero, eliminating the threat at the cost of his life, but not before everything was destroyed. To this day, Jump City is littered in robotic corpses under the thick snow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wait. So everything was destroyed. So is the world ruled by robots or not?
No. Cinderblock. Well, I say everything was destroyed. So actually, it's unclear, right? The state of the world. In even in the original episode, How Long is Forever, relative to Jump City, I'm sure that there are areas that might be doing fine. However, there might be some actual butterfly effect tornado bullshit like we talked about. I mean, the climate is different. So I mean, maybe they were saying that would happen regardless, but just because of environmental problems. But in either case, that is something that is different here in this time. As to like the specifics of like when I try to think back, every time like a background check on a job or something asks me about what months did you live somewhere to somewhere, or like when did you work exactly like from at this place or that place, I'm like, fuck, I don't know, I don't remember what month. And that's like 5 years ago. So for you guys, it happened that year, and it must have been within months of Starfire disappearing, these robots appeared, and there was a bunch of other stuff that was happening in town. You guys not working as a team, and deteriorating on your own personally meant more and more chaos of villains, from the preceding episodes to when this happens.
Right.
Creating chaos with not as good of a resistance. So you guys remember having to deal with all that already while not on speaking terms with each other, and then suddenly this massive threat that you really weren't any use against several months after. At some point, like, I won't specifically say 6 months or whatever, but
So I can't gather any specifics, is what you're saying.
you know that it happens within months.
Okay.
Gotcha. As to the individual details about the robots and whatnot, I mean, you can know about the figure that presented himself, that he was like a warforged, like, robotic individual, like Cyborg is.
Right.
More mechanized than Cyborg even is. He seemed to have gotten rid of, like, even more of his humanity, and that he individually was not incredibly strong, but he had such forces at his disposal, like, just in sheer scale. His production of robots had gone unchecked. That's how he kind of, like, swallowed the city. I will let when other characters show up, I think they would remember different things. So,
Okay.
yeah. But everyone remembers that Cinderblock just, like, charged through, the robotic forces, like, and killed the villain, but was brought down, like, in the killing blow, uh, by his lieutenants, which seem to be augmented humans.
Right.
But if you're waiting for Cyborg, then I would say that everyone else would kind of appear relatively near in time.
Yeah, where am I?
Because I feel no confidence whatsoever in saying who appears first. You guys can do a roll off of some kind, like just a D20 roll off, to see who shows up first, since though your awareness of it was kind of happening semi simultaneously.
I have a motorcycle.
I'm rolling a d20. Aren't you in a different, like, different state of mind? I don't know.
I have a motorcycle.
He's arguing for a motorcycle bonus
compared to. That's fair.
Well, no, he was in town.
Oh,
he wouldn't have gotten all the way.
He's in town. He's in Jump City.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he would get there. Okay, apparently me.
Yay! I mean, I do think you would probably be closest, even closer than Cyborg in the tower. So, yeah, I think that makes the most sense. It's also kind of funny.
They're on top of the building?
Yes. So you are following the tracker, and you spot them with your eagle eye through the snow, and can dive down towards this the group. You see Starfire, and Raven, who you did not think was in a state of mind to be outside, but seems fine, and is holding warp at like under her power.
All right, yeah, I touched down, and I turned back into me, and I'm just like, who's this guy? What, we gonna fuck him up? What's up?
Beast Boy, your hair.
Don't talk about it. What do you? Yeah, whatever.
He's such a salty bitch.
We are waiting for Cyborg. We're hoping to create a time portal so that I can go back to my home time.
Wait, so... Oh my goodness, it's Starfire. Okay.
Yes, we spoke on the phone.
Yeah, I still was in disbelief, and now you're here. Hi.
So it's true what you said. The team really did break apart.
I have not seen any of them in a bit. Hey, Raven. Hey.
I just wave awkwardly.
Yeah.
You good? You feel you all right?
Just give a small nod. Just rubbing the back of my head.
Yeah.
Beast Man. This is very important. What do you remember about the day the robots rose?
About the day the world stood still.
I remember Cinderblock just completely like he gave his life and all that. It was crazy. What do I remember?
Does he? What is the new information?
I would say for Beast Boy that what you were trying to do was like really save people. I mean, those robots were really hard for you to fight on your own.
Yeah.
And you were trying to get a lot of people out of the
It
city.
was a bad day.
It was a really bad day.
I did not like it.
It was really a lot of chaos for you. You just remember how they were just coming up from the ground seemingly everywhere. You'd be like leading people to safety, telling them to run in a direction, and then you'd have to like get them moving in a different direction really quickly because like they'd be cut off by robots again. And so it was not like there was an origin point for the invasion is what you remember. It was like they were all coming up from under the ground.
Yeah, there were robots everywhere. They were just like coming up out of the ground. It was madness.
Do you remember what day it was on the calendar?
Would I remember what day?
No.
I do not remember the exact day. You would think that everyone would like remember at least. Well, I guess not.
It wasn't 9/11.
I mean, how is it not 9/11?
No, listen. In the
a
DC
one-day event?
in the DC universe, it was like, look, Coast City got fucking deleted one time, and that's not even too far away. Like
okay, so
that.
it was less apocalyptic than it seemed in my vision, is what I'm gathering.
So it's like, is it how long did this like invasion last?
Well,
because is it like a whole like COVID arc thing? I don't know the exact day that COVID started.
Did you make any social media posts upon that day? Can we figure out?
Well, so all that infrastructure is gone. But the so
wait, you're okay. Sorry, I don't want to be that guy, but you need to tell me the world hasn't ended. This was not a big enough deal to be called a 9/11. But there is no social media now?
What I am saying is this was bad, but this is not even the ultimate thing that makes this future so shitty. Because the future was already super shitty without Starfire, without the Teen Titans in the original episode. So like one extra shitty thing that happened early on might be somewhat like big on a personal level,
okay.
but it's just part of the whole fucked up world.
We don't have like a newspaper of when Cinderblock like became this hero.
I have a copy. I have a lot of copies of that actually.
It's 2024 and there's no X.
There's no X.
And this is the bad timeline?
Look. If you get into the DC comics, there are probably multiple like big events that characters from the Teen Titans get involved in as a team to stop big apocalypse problems, and they would no longer be as a team involved in those problems anymore. Maybe only Nightwing would be involved in those problems. Since then, the world probably is very generally fucked up. I can confidently say that without the Teen Titans involvement as full-time heroes. So, like, one thing that happened early in that process would be less remembered by the world. Although if you have archived information, some other individuals who are showing up might
Okay.
then we will get there. We are on Beast Boy right now.
That's fair.
Anyway, Starfire, it was a terrible day, and I don't really like thinking about it. So
I would like to prevent it from happening.
that's a good point.
I
Stop the
remember
robots
everything
from coming
now.
out of the ground.
Yes, I will do that.
That's actually a good thought. Like, check the
I
underground.
don't know, check underground.
I'm taking notes.
They came from like below the earth.
From the underground.
I don't know where. They're like down there.
I have like a piece of paper that I'm just writing down everything he's saying.
Okay.
It's very rambling.
And there's a little cartoon doodle of a bald Beast Boy head.
Nice.
I'm not here yet, am I?
No, you're going to be next right now.
Oh,
Let me just make a couple more
I have all my
rolls.
newspapers and everything, so...
Yeah, let me... Oh my god, shut up.
You better bet it. You know, I have that room in my house that has newspapers all over the wall.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm going to call Cyborg.
Cyborg is showing up
When
right
there's
now, so
trouble,
stop.
You know what to do.
No.
Call Cyborg. He can shoot a rocket
from his shoe. Cause he's Cyborg. I need to just send you the lyrics to that song one day, Johnny. That Cyborg sings in one episode.
He sings the intro about Cyborg one time.
Yeah. Okay.
Just send him the clip.
Yes. As Cyborg shows up, I will just ask Raven, make one. It'll probably be super easy, but make one wisdom check, please.
Wisdom.
Okay. It
24.
seemed like for a second while they were talking that Warp like strained kind of noticeably against your restraints, but he was not. Like, he was definitely not close. But it was just the potential of how strong your hold was. Cyborg, you show up. They're there. Starfire and Raven, and also Beast Boy is there.
The first thing I do is I look kind of sheepish and actually almost look like I'm hiding behind Beast Boy. And I'm like, is that King Clock?
No, it's not King Clock, and it's not Clock King, which is maybe what you were going for.
Do I recognize him?
Oh yeah, he's older. Like, you haven't seen him in a while, but
oh, that's Warp.
No, I just openly point towards Raven. And I'm like, I point towards Raven. I'm like, you hit that yet?
Oh,
what? Oh my god, the mental patient.
What did he say?
Wait, were you talking to Beast Boy?
Yes.
Cyborg, we haven't seen each other in months, years.
That's what you say.
Look, man.
Starfire, you might be like blushing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, look, man. I don't talk to people very often anymore.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Cyborg, do you know what day the robots rose from the ground?
Oh yeah, man. I know all of that.
Okay, so what
you say a day and it's gonna be totally the wrong day.
Well,
he's like, definitely it was this day. It was definitely this day. I know it was this day.
I will. Okay, let me look at the episode lists. Cyborg. It has been a long, weird time for you. You've lived alone for a long time, but you remember a lot about the logistics of the robots themselves.
Oh yeah.
You've integrated a lot of their remnants into your own stuff. It didn't help you stay ahead of the technology curve as far as fighting villains and stuff, but it helped you as far as like raw parts. You never would run out of those because of all the robots all over the city, and even in the tower itself. They attacked the tower. You remember that there was a ton of them, and you remember that it happened definitely within the span of two to three. yeah, 3 to 2 months after Starfire disappeared. You also remember that you remember the two robotic, partially the cybernetic humans. They appeared to be kids, a young boy. I mean, you remember the thing that tore your heart out about the whole thing the most was that one of the cybernetic lieutenants was, like Starfire's prophecies had said, your like friend from the park, Kyle, with the prosthetic arm. He got turned into a big multi-armed robot. You fought him. It did not go well for you, and without Cinderblock's help, you would have probably been killed by him. And there was also a girl who fired big fuck off, like, disintegration plus level eye beams out of her eye, like some crazy Borg. And those were like his big lieutenants. So you remember that. So you remember that it was within probably 2 months of when that happened, just because of the fog of war during that time for you. And also you remember that it happened, that you remember Kyle and this girl, this elementary school girl, who you weren't able to, after losing Starfire and not being a team, you weren't able to track them down in order to stop this from happening. So you remember you remember like technological details. If you were to go back in time and tell yourself how to help someone who had been converted into a cyborg and was being remote controlled, you remember tech details to counter those like control signals that you definitely would want to get in Starfire's hands before she goes back to her time.
Can I just give her a flash drive with the information and a virus on it?
Yes, you can. It well, so a virus, what do you mean by like a virus necessarily?
Well, first of all, it has the information, but it also it has something that basically either shuts down or seriously hampers said cyborgs that would come.
Yes, absolutely. You can do that.
I'm pretty sure I spent some good years making that thing.
Yeah, I would think that it would probably be like a main project during your doldrum years here. So yeah, you can give that to her.
Yeah. Oh, here. Look, it's all on this flash drive. You might want to look over it, and it involves. You're probably going to want to protect this kid. You know, just read it. It's got a lot of stuff on it. You know what? You show it to Robin. I show it to Robin.
Thank you, Cyborg. I will give.
You know what? Show it to Batman. I think that's
well.
Better.
I mean, there's also yourself.
Yeah, I was going to say thank you, Cyborg. I will give this to you.
Oh yeah, that also is a good idea.
Okay.
In the meantime, are you able to use warp to create the time portal?
Oh yeah, man. I created this device a while back, and I just got to modify it. It's my expand dimensional organization inverse generationality device.
Great, that's good.
Just shorten that to expand dong.
No,
I will not.
Dongle.
I hand him the thingy.
Okay, yeah, the vortex regular. Okay, yeah. Raven, go ahead and give me you're about to show up, Robin. But right kind of as or before you do, Raven, give me another roll. You'll probably be fine again, but okay.
Tired.
Yeah, you're totally fine. he struggled like a little bit better this time. It's kind of cute to watch him to try to do this, but he's like he's like the veins in his neck are like really like low key just bulging out. Like while everyone just kind of has a chat about things.
Good ending to the episode.
It's funny. I accidentally glanced over at Paul's like Starfire notes of like what he was writing down about this. It just says Robots came out of the ground. Cinderblock died. Girl shot crazy eye beams.
Yeah. Or I guess everyone, you kind of see out of the corner of your eye like a dark like figure like jump and twirl onto the roof and land, unless that's not how he wants to enter. But
Oh, no, that's
I
right.
think otherwise that's great. I think and land on the roof, and you all kind of like turn, expecting trouble, and you see this man standing there, young man, like 20s, mid to late 20s. He has shoulder length black hair, comes down in a very nice dark sheen. He wears this interesting like domino style mask, blue kind of dark mask, and has this suit, looks like a gymnast's outfit, with padding in certain areas, and has this symbol, kind of like a flying bird, stylized like flying bird on his chest, blue. And he lands there, and you all turn and look. And as you're looking at him, perhaps ready, it takes a second, but perhaps Starfire even, you kind of look at him, and there's just this familiar feeling about him, and you think you know who he is.
Aqualad?
Kind.
Robin? Is that you?
Oh,
never-
yeah, that makes sense.
I never thought I'd see the day where all you were together again.
Oh, come on. I lose half my hair and he gets like more of it.
Great.
Beast Boy, can't you shapeshift some hair or something?
It's that no. No,
Hold on,
look,
hold on,
I
hold on.
transform into like a bear and the bear's like half
That's a ball.
Wait. Are you bald when you like shapeshift into like a
yes,
dog?
look at this bear.
Holy crap! Shapeshift into a bear.
Well, the lion he turns into the episode is not balding.
It's not.
No.
I guess it's just his human form.
It's just me. I would think that the animals would look all like old and grungy too.
Well, like maybe the lion looks a little like older and bigger, but like it
Tired.
doesn't look.
The
Yeah,
lion
but
There's
is-
this
it's not
circle of
balding.
hair missing.
It's like a zoo lion.
Yeah, I'm kind of awestruck by the future Robin for a second.
Mhm.
And then I look up to him and I say, Robin, how did... And I look over the whole group and I say, how did this happen?
Are you saying how did he get older and grow hair?
No, God. Cyber,
Starfire. Let me hold on.
Johnny.
There's a
please.
thing called aging where we come from. I know it's weird for you
That's
people.
Johnny. That's
And
that's
this is
dumb.
why we broke up.
That's dumb. Just let the scene, let it breathe a little bit.
Yes, sir.
It's fine. Well, so Robin, or for one thing, they don't. You realize they don't know. You don't go by that name anymore.
I mean,
Are you gonna say that you're Nightwing now, or
no.
no?
Okay.
It seems out of place to say I'm Nightwing now. It's kind of
No,
like
I mean,
Warp
you
coming
haven't
in and
gone
being
by
like,
Robin for like years.
yeah. It's
So I
but
don't
it's
know.
like she
but,
just.
but
It's more if she just asked like what happened, and I'm like I'm Nightwing.
Yeah, no, he made a roleplay decision.
No,
guys.
that's fair,
You don't
that's
have
fair.
That's
to-
fair. That's fair. That's
It's
fair.
kind of like
Came in.
it's kind of like Warp popping in and being like, "I'm from the future."
Well, but he does do that. No, fair enough.
Okay.
Like whenever you feel is appropriate. I just wanna.
Back in character.
Okay. So
What happened again?
So you do remember, it was in early February, which I'm actually going off of the posted episode dates for these episodes of 2004. Yeah, you remember all the things that I've said thus far about it. The robots coming up from all over the ground, you trying to save people and also fight them off, you fighting the lieutenants. You were like dodging away from that girl with the I-beam until you finally knocked her out, which was hairy as fuck because it was like every one that shot at you was like you were just like really close to dying, and like any shot that would have hit you would have probably killed you instantly, which checks out.
It's a daily thing.
But you did manage to knock her out. But that occupied most of your time. You do know of the details. Of course, you saw Cinderblock make the heroic charge to take out Fix-It, killing them both, just kind of in the effort of that. The robots like killed him as he killed Fix-It, and then after that, like the command signal for all of them just died immediately, and all the robots fell to pieces. So you're very aware of that weakness. They can't act autonomously, at least in any complex sense, and they haven't reactivated. You also remember that there was an area of town kind of near the suburbs. It originated kind of in one of the suburb neighborhood areas, kind of a more better off area. When the robots spread over that area, this is not something you saw directly, but you heard reports about it afterward, and you saw some straggling like elements of it flying around and stuff. When the robots spread into this area of town, everyone was kind of evacuating, but they hit this one portion of a neighborhood over there, all since ruined by the chaos. But after the fact, you found the remains of a basement lab underneath a house. Some kind of reportedly insects, flying mutated insects, broke out from a house, from a secret lab underneath a house. And these insects, these mutated insects, actually fought back a quadrant of the robot invasion pretty effectively, but were overwhelmed due to just like their own lack of organization, and like they didn't immediately come out in time. Like most of them seem to have been killed by the robots while still in containment, but some broke out of containment and fought back the robots, these mutated insects. And so you remember that, and remember thinking that whatever was going on with that, whatever was being planned with those things, they were an effective force against the robot invasion. That's just what you remember as Robin, really. That's the kind of thing that you would like look into and think about and wonder about the potential of leading up to that.
Jeez. And
is that what he tells me?
I'm like, am I just going to have to reiterate all that?
I mean, classic D&D moment. I mean, you can say it however you would like to say it.
Okay. Going back to her question then, once you disappeared, we kind of, the team fell apart, and I couldn't keep them together. And
how was this allowed? Who allowed it?
Sometimes you don't allow things like that, Star. Sometimes it just happens. There's different ways to deal with grief of losing someone, and I mean, after the invasion, I mean, I went back to Batman, and I left Robin behind and became Nightwing because I found that I failed you all, especially with the alien force that the machines came in, and we weren't a team, and we couldn't hold them back.
I surprise hug Robin, and I say, that must have been so hard, so painful for you.
He just kind of like melts into a hug into her.
Yeah. And then I say, for all of you. And then once I'm done hugging him, I hug Beast Boy.
I give her a big hug back. We fell apart when you left Starfire.
I will not leave. I will change that. And I'll hug even Cyborg next.
Starfire. I probably smell.
Yeah, it does, but I try not to make a face. And then I
To be fair, I probably smell too.
And then I slowly
I
come
was
up
in a
on Raven
circus.
and see if that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh, she said BRB.
I was waiting for it. He just stares at you.
Zoned
And I'm
out.
gonna go to the bathroom too.
Bathroom break. Bathroom break.
Okay, fair enough.
I was waiting for that to happen just to be like, he walks up to Raven, and it's like, I see if it's okay to hug, and just silence. It's like, no, that makes sense.
Oh, I love this scene though; it's really good.
The
Mhm.
the bugs, was that something that happened in? And I mean, don't tell me any, too much. Was that something that happened in the series, or is that something you're adding?
Not gonna tell you.
Okay, fair. I was like, I'll throw the question out there. If I don't get any any answer, it's okay. I was like, that's an interesting concept.
Okay, I'm back. I peed.
Starfire goes to hug Raven, and her face is just a loading reel.
Beach ball of death.
Starfire basically had an emotional moment with Nightwing and hugged him, and then hugged everybody else, and then got to you to see if it was okay to hug you, and you were gone.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
What?
She went and hugged everybody and came.
You guys
up
are just
to
waiting for my reaction to a hug?
Yeah, to see how Raven reacts to that.
Basically, like offered to give you a hug and to see what Raven.
It's very important for Raven. She's all about her boundaries. We know this.
I just had to clarify that that's like okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess she it's probably weird for her. I mean, eventually she hugs back. I think it takes her a second though.
Okay.
Okay, so she allows it. Yeah, Starfire hugs her.
Yay.
Yay.
Give me 2 wisdom checks just for the time of Nightwing, Kier plus hugs. Okay, fine.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so oh my god, it literally
I now
happened
won everybody.
how I wanted it. So
Listen, does he really want to get out right now?
when you hug, when she hugs you and you're like standing there for a moment, you take a moment to put an arm around her and hug her back, and you feel those feelings again, feelings you've put aside in yourself for so long, and you just actually let yourself feel them, and it's a wonderful little moment. Unfortunately, in that moment, perhaps your power wanes slightly, or perhaps he rolls a 17 versus your 11 for telekinesis, and Warp goes, enough of this. And he strains and flexes, and somehow he bursts from the through the wisps of your power as they dissipate, and he goes, I don't care how many of you idiots get back together, you still don't understand. I am from the future.
Right as he says from the future, I'm going to kick him in the face.
And I'm going to need all of you to roll initiative.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
I can't punch this guy.
It's just telekinesis. You can.
Let's see. Initiative is...
I knew it was coming. I was like, I just want to kick this guy right in the teeth.
I have a question outside of game.
Okay, yeah.
Do we need this guy to do the to go back in time?
You do.
Okay.
As far as the influence of Jump City and what's left in Jump City, you don't have the stuff for a time machine, like just in the tower or something. You do need
so
his
just,
time travel technology.
So just scaring him away and then just leaving him here for the dimension to him to go bye-bye with this dimension is not an option. Okay.
Right. Unfortunately, you can actually even gather this just from the name of the component that broke off his suit. It's a vortex regulator, right? So it regulates the time travel. It doesn't create the full effect. You still need his suit to do that.
Got it. Okay.
So you're on a rooftop. It's not a big rooftop. God. Do I want to define this again? Maybe I should, based on last time. I mean, he'll probably do things, run, jump off the roof, do a bunch of bullshit. The battle map would change a lot, potentially, so I don't know if it's really something I still would want as a battle map. So top of the round, as this happens, your reaction, you're probably extremely pissed to see this happen. Starfire, what would you like to do?
Okay, what level do I cast Heat Metal on again?
Yeah, I think just the base level cast of it, which I think is 3, and then you can use slots to increase its power.
Don't cast it. 6. Okay.
Are you gonna cast it at 6th level?
Wait, that what kind of HP did he have before? I'm trying to remember.
Well, I mean,
He had a
you guys
decent
did a good chunk. I mean, villains at this point are gonna have at least a couple hundred, so because you
Okay,
guys
so-
can do a lot if you don't fuck around.
Yeah, I'm casting 6th level Heat Metal on.
I mean, you don't want to save that for your other spell.
I can't imagine what I would want to use that for here.
I mean, fair enough, I guess.
Right? Am I missing something?
No, I mean, it's just a good spell. That's all
Yeah,
I'm
but I
saying.
see limit. But I don't want to kill anybody.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fair. I will say, you remember this from last time, that he did counter it the second time you used it against it.
Oh wait, he did? How?
With counterspell.
I don't remember that, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big, long fight, but just
Yeah.
to your benefit as a player, he did say, no, not that shit again.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to, but I will. Okay, fine. In that case, I'm going to use a 5th level Heat Metal.
Okay. he definitely does want to try to counterspell it, but it's going to be, he doesn't know what level you're casting it at, so it's just going to be his basic roll-off. He uses his reaction for counterspell, so he, if the creature is casting a spell of 3rd level or lower, which you're not, the spell fails and has no effect. If it's casting a spell of 4th level or higher, I have to make an ability check using his spellcasting ability, and the DC is 10 plus the spell's level, so 15.
Okay.
Now, he does have good intelligence because his tech is so good. He's basically shooting like just kind of like a counter, like against, like, you know, whatever the justification in universe is between the pseudo D&D versus like T-Titans one. He's like countering it with like anti-microwave bullshit.
Right.
It's literally future magic technology nonsense. I let you guys just go full whatever you want, whatever, because I forgot the first round of that last combat, but I'm not doing it anymore. He's had 10 years for this. Oh my god, he almost failed. So he rolled a 16, which was almost not enough, but he did succeed. He does have a plus 10 to his really good tech. His intelligence, basically. So unfortunately, he uses his reaction and blasts this, like, you like send this like wave of like green energy to heat his suit, but he like sends out a pulse and cancels it out. Well, but you still have your bonus action, I guess. So
I don't think there's anything I can do with my bonus action.
you could quicken that spell, and it would be your bonus action. if
Oh
you
wait,
wanted.
so I could just do it again, right?
No, you can't cast 2 spells in the span of once, but what I'm saying is you could have quickened that spell if you wanted to.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Do I even have that?
Oh, I don't know if you have that as your meta magic or not. Just, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, good to know though.
That's what your sister was doing all the time, quickening spells and then being able to do a
Oh,
bunch
I see.
the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to move up to where he is though. As
Okay, yeah, for sure. You
Sort of
fly
body
up to him.
Yeah.
Okay, Nightwing. It is now your turn. You see him there. You know his shit. What's your passive perception? I mean, I know it's like 23 or
perception is
something.
22.
22. Yeah, it's almost as high as as high or almost as high as Raven's just from your feet. So you look at him, you immediately assess that he hasn't had the technology to fully maintain his suit. Nice extra attack.
Don't mind me.
To fully maintain his suit throughout this period, it's a little worn down, and you get the sense that his direct, the defenses of his suit are probably not as good anymore. So, like physical attacks and otherwise would do better against it. So you just immediately have that information, just going into it. That
Nice.
It seems that you don't have to do anything circuitous to hurt him anymore.
And then, quick question for thing: Batarangs don't count as discs, so if I throw
It's
that
a ranged
as my attack,
yeah,
I can then bonus action punch him in the face.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to throw 2 Batarangs.
You can also throw you're so acrobatically good that you can throw your I mean, they're all monk weapons in this case. And also, I just want to say that Nightwing at this point would have figured something out to where you can apply sneak attack to whatever you want. So, you can also, but the point is that I was getting at is you can also throw your baton in its before you extend it to its full length. You can chuck that when it's just its short length as like a range thing as well. It's more it might be flavor more than whatever, but you can throw that, bounce it off, beam people in the head and catch it again, ricochet it off walls like fucking Captain America and bullshit. So yeah. Yeah.
Physics of that one is a little questionable.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to throw 2 Batarangs at him as I run up to him. Well, that's a 12 and a 22.
Okay, the 22 will hit.
8 piercing damage. Well, technically that's sneak attack.
Mm-hmm. And you can also make that do bludgeoning with just how those work. I think you can do either or.
So that's 13 piercing damage.
Okay. All right. It smashes into his suit, and it actually seems that he's taking the full damage.
Before he realizes that I'm on top of him with a full roundhouse kick to the face.
Okay. Hell yeah. Just whoosh. All right. You have your upgraded martial arts die. It's a D10 for Nightwing.
So that's a 12, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And then
12 will not hit.
Key point to do flurry of blows to do another one, which is a 27 with 7 points. And with that contact, I'm going to do a stunning strike.
He rolls a 15. What's your DC?
I think it's 14.
What? Why so low?
I don't know.
Doesn't your wisdom go into that or something?
Something like that. Something that's low. So close.
Okay, I mean, I guess the story arc is about Robin's wisdom increasing. Okay, unfortunately, it doesn't take hold.
As he said, future, and kick him in the face.
You're like, fuck you. It is now his turn. I think he's just pissed. So these are ranged attacks. So they're going to be at disadvantage against you guys. He is no longer under the effect of foresight. So he just his attacks are not at advantage anymore because he's outside the realm of his future bullshit. For the first time that you guys have actually seen these things, because he never got them out. From his shoulder pops up these little bits, these circular bits with red, and they fire off blasts of lasers. Although they are ranged, so they're both going to be at disadvantage against 2 attacks each. Against Nightwing and Starfire, because you're just right there up on him. So
I'm fine.
you'll probably. That's a 20, I think that's your AC, all things together.
I cast shield.
That's right.
Come
Robin
on,
has
internet.
multi-classed.
Again. Fuck you. And a 26, so that'll hit a 21 and a 34 to hit you, Star. So
Yeah, those hit.
all right, so both these lasers, you run up, you're both ready to fight him again in this cool moment, but they are the first to be like kind of like these lasers pop out and blast you guys back. Nightwing, you take 31 and then 27 points of damage.
Wait, so how much is that altogether?
3, 4, 5, 7, 58.
Rude.
Yeah. I mean, in the episode, he does kick their ass really easily, so that was what I was going for.
I can't believe you're gonna make us fight this fucker again.
Yes. It almost didn't happen.
Oh, pile on heat metal, guys.
Yeah, well, she tried
so far
to do that.
once.
Look, all I'm saying is when I went, are you sure you don't want to say that's actually a bad roll. All right, and then 23 and 22 to Starfire, though you're resistant to both those.
Okay, so you're gonna make me have that and add it up. Cool.
Yes. This episode will be short.
Lies.
I fully expected it to, okay? I'm like rolling his contested strength, which is garbage for him.
I mean,
the whole time.
Can Raven just grab him again?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He will probably just grab him again, and then it will be over.
Everybody gets around to punch him at that point.
Exactly.
Will heat the metal within his testicles.
Heat the fucking microplastics in his balls.
Everybody has the metals in their balls. In the
All right. All right. If you've got that, then I will move on.
Oh.
No. I will move on to Cyborg's turn. All right, so Cyborg, so he's shooting big lasers at everyone. You have big lasers and stuff, so yeah, what would you like to do?
First of all,
I will say, just because you're the tech guy and he uses tech, and you've had all this time, right? For one thing, you know he has an energy shield, but it costs his reaction to use it. He already used that against Star, so you can hit him with a blast or something. He probably won't be able to defend against it. And even if he does, you remember the kind of energy rating on that shield, and you know if you increase power output by a certain degree, you can get past that, no problem. But that's not even relevant for this turn because you can just do whatever you want to him.
All right, I used my bonus action to cast a Shardle on Stride. So flames start to wreathe around me, and as I do, I say, "You see here, last time you fought us, we had more of a will to live, and we weren't angry. Son, you done goofed." And
he's willing to kill himself. I just imagine like things like start like expanding and like steam vents start shooting like heating the components and stuff. That's so cool. He's going second gear.
I have a Shardlin Stride up, and I just plow forward straight towards him, and I want to start with the grapple attack. I'm going to grab this guy.
Oh my god. I've never heard of this spell. Is this like a Strixhaven spell?
It's a Fizzbans.
Fizzbans. That awesome. I know there's great stuff in there. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
and it makes a lot of sense. It's an artificer spell. Okay, he needs to make a grapple check.
Oh god.
I got a 36.
I'm not even gonna bother. His dex and strength is so bad.
First of all, he immediately takes 1d6 fire damage just for me touching him.
Yup.
And that is he takes 2 fire damage. And now I'm just gonna rear back and punch this sucker.
Okay, yeah,
Like,
with your second attack.
I grabbed him around the back, and I'm just gonna start wailing on him.
You just fucking slam him into the ground or something. Like, fuck you.
That's
Hell yeah.
That's basically how it goes. Okay,
Amazing.
that is a wow. That wasn't great. That's a 13 to hit.
That will not.
All right.
Unfortunately.
As I'm getting a hold of him, my fist just goes straight past his face, like brushes his cheek.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. And no, my flames shouldn't hurt anybody else around me. Really, it's just if they're touching me.
Okay, cool.
Or
right.
like literally, it's like a 1 foot radius. I mean, they have to be really right up.
Gotcha.
All right.
So Beast Boy, it's your turn. Cyborg just like kind of all these like heating grates expanded, and he just started like getting super heated, literally, and like tackled Warp and has him in his grasp. What would you like to do?
Kind of want to assist his grapple and turn into a giant constrictor snake, and also try and.
I will say. I will say, I mean, you guys do remember he has phase tech, so.
Wait, what does that do again?
I mean, he can go intangible for a moment.
Oh,
and
you're
move.
right. You're right. I'm gonna turn into a warhorse and kick him in the face.
Okay. You just like move, like flip around and just like kick backward, fucking in the face. Do it.
Yeah, just
Do
like
it,
back
King.
leg, just into his face.
That would kill a
man. Okay, hold on.
Listen, I'm from the future. We have vaccines against horse kicks.
Okay, I rolled a 14.
Yeah, that's the only thing I was worried about with the warhorse, I guess. Not the biggest bonus.
Yeah, it's only a +6 to hit.
Does it not have multi-attack?
No.
Okay.
Not,
so you like you do like hit him in the chest, but it doesn't seem to do any damage. He's like, oh.
Good. I'm a horse.
Okay. I'm a horse. I'm a horse. Oh my god. So Raven, it's literally the Akira, no. Look at the horse. Me all said that. I don't know if you've seen that, but I'll send it later.
Sure, I did not do that intentionally.
So Raven, it is your turn. He seems to have slipped your bonds, but now he's being grappled. You know that grapple won't hold him if he phases, but your power will. But also you have whatever else you'd like to do. You, in your state in this era, you could also do anything that you have, any spells that you have, without using any spell slots. So feel free to go wild if you want.
Oh, wow. I mean, I'm gonna try to hold him down with telekinesis first.
Yeah, fair enough.
Seems like the easiest. Like,
yeah,
just hit him again, man.
And then if I want to attack him later, I will.
All right, a 14. I mean, you could roll really bad, but you have a +10. So yeah, it's just like clicking your wisdom. Ooh, barely. You're still rattled, I suppose, but you do manage to sheath him in your dark but also very glowing white energy once more. You could move him if you wanted to with this, but Cyborg's holding him and all your friends are nearby to pummel him, so you don't need to do that if you don't want to.
Cool, I'll just keep him there.
Okay. Do you want to do anything with your bonus action?
No.
Does that not end combat?
Well, it would probably effectively hold him for a long time. I will say you guys can just wail if you want to, like to teach him a lesson. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that would probably end direct combat. But you guys can still hit him if you want with whatever you want. So yeah, what would you guys like to do?
I mean, I think I will heat metal at least a little bit just to
Okay.
get him to hold still.
Yeah. You could basically like. I mean, it's pretty. It's insane because I mean, technically, you'd still have his reaction for things like in a new round, but it's only literally a matter of time before other people use it up, and then you get a heat metal on him, and then you
Yeah.
start literally boiling this man like in in his armor
Yeah.
as other people like kick him and shit. Like,
It's kind of a foregone conclusion. It's a little predestined.
I will say, like, it's I mean, maybe there's a question about how brutal Starfire would be towards him, you know, if he's not directly able to defend himself. But for the rest of you guys, I mean, you're still heroes, but you are jaded adults. So if you just want to fucking, like, I wouldn't question it at all if you just wanted to beat the shit out of him.
Does anybody want to beat the shit out of him?
We're still heroes.
Nightwing says as
he's punching his face.
as Cyborg like suplexes him again.
I already have him like held down and at our mercy, so that's good enough for me.
Okay. Yeah. Point is, if you guys wanted to lower his hit points more, you could, but you can also take further steps to restrain him. With him already restrained, you know, you could fuck with his I would say Cyborg, you can, if you have a moment, you can like take time to use your tech to disable like his stuff, like his phase ability and stuff like that, so that he is less able to fuck
just
around.
Use my action to start tinkering with him.
Yeah. As you're holding him down, it's like, no, hey, stop messing with that. It's
a good idea.
It's too sophisticated for your dumb Neanderthal brain.
Look, I don't have to make it like fix it good. I just have to break it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, please. But you fuck it up, and you guys actually fully disable him at this point. Okay. So you have him. So, Cyborg, there are components that he feels he would need to repair his suit. You could try without those components, because you guys would have to steal them or figure out a way to get them. You could try without that, though. The DC might be a little higher, but you could probably still do it because you're Cyborg, you know? Yeah, you're feeling good about yourself. You can try to figure it out. You basically would have to get him to like reintegrate the regulator so that he can open a portal, and you'd be able to plug into his systems to make sure he makes the portal go to the right place.
All right. Look, listen here, bucko. I'm gonna jack into you, and you're gonna open yourself a little portal that we're gonna go through, or at least this little lady is.
Yeah. Look, it's fine if you think you can reattach the regulator, but I still think you would need the components from the facility here in town. But I can't really complain. I can't really argue. Do what you may.
Look, I crack my knuckles. I'll reattach your regulator. Come here.
All right, yeah, go ahead and give me an Arcana check, and you can do all the stuff.
Yeah.
Nightwing leans over to Beast Point. It's like, is he trying to make everything a sexual innuendo, or is that just because he's been stuck in the tower this whole time?
I don't know, man. I don't think he's talking to anybody in a while.
I think it's a little bit of...
Nightwing kind of just shakes his head a little bit.
That's a 29.
Yeah. That's good enough. I put the DC at 25. So you do it. You manage to reattach. You get that like the fixtures are not exactly right, but this will do for a couple uses, and you only need one. So with that, you kind of like, you know, you have like wires connected to him and stuff, and you open up an arm panel and start hitting buttons, and you activate his portal as he's like sitting there on the ground like a child, and it can create a portal. So it opens a portal. You don't even have to keep it open because in this version he doesn't get turned into a baby.
Oh no!
Yeah, I was gonna
Well,
say the potential fate worse than death here.
I look at him and say, I do know a thing or two about dimensionality and the cosmos. You know, you should really consider centering your chi, maybe getting a spirit guide.
okay. He just looks at her. He's like, "What?" He's just very
Spirit guide,
confused.
you know, a spirit, a spirit up in the spirit realm that can teach you how to become one with the universe. And
roll persuasion actually for me.
oh my gosh, really? And center your soul so you can become a whole person. Okay. I do have that's a 19.
Okay, so he doesn't. He's like, he still thinks you're mostly nuts, but he goes, "It's like, well, a lot of my theories about science and the state of reality, temporal mechanics, have been brought highly into question as of late."
It will only make sense if you integrate technology and spirituality. They aren't separate, they're one. You have no idea.
He goes, "You're still probably insane, but I have learned that things are not as assured as I would like to believe." And so he kind of has like has a paradigm shift a little bit. A white light projects from his chest piece, and it opens oval of dark energy with like kind of just like white light coming out around the edges from seemingly behind it, but like leaking through the spatial distortion. Yeah, the portal is there. There's nothing for you to bring back with you this time in the sense of a clock. You have him secured. You guys, I'm sure afterward, will finish dismantling his suit and probably have him incarcerated in this era. Finally, after all his time hiding out, you guys are more than equipped to handle him at this point. So all that is left is your goodbyes.
Star, before you leave, I'm sure they've told you about the robot invasion.
Yes.
Another thing you should know is kind of better part of town, there were these mutated insects that helped out. They took out a decent quadrant of the forces, but they were pretty much all in cages, so they could be useful to help you guys out back then. Talk to Robin, and maybe you and he can figure out what's going on with that to help you guys out ahead of time.
I write that on my notepad or whatever I'm writing on, and I write about that next to a little cartoon picture of Robin's head with an arrow pointing towards his hair that says "mullet?" ?
Good.
I put a hand on Starfire's shoulder and I say, Starfire, you gotta make sure that I get my hair back.
I will endeavor to do that, Beast Boy.
And I hope everything else is better too.
I have a little tear in my eye and I say, Starfire, I know we probably didn't say it enough, but you're kind of the glue that holds us all together. The evidence of what happened here is that way. And as much as we complain about some of your holidays or sayings, in honesty, we love every last one of them. It's just who you are, and we appreciate everything about you. So when you go back, just know that, okay?
I will remember. Thank you, Cyborg.
I'm sorry, Starfire. We didn't We needed you.
Yeah, I sort of walk towards the portal, and I look back a little bit sadly, and then I go through.
Okay. You look back at this final image, them Warp sitting on the ground, defeated and bound, but your friends, different, but returned to the heroes that you always knew that they were. Standing there, sad to see you go, that they had truly lost you in a sense, but that the world will be better. Whatever happens to them when you go home, one way or the other, their future is brighter. And you move through the portal, and it closes behind you. You fly through the vortex of clocks once more until there's a white light at the end rapidly, and you burst through it. All right, so you fly, you charge him. Maybe Robin or someone else goes, Starfire, no! And you tackle him through the portal, and everyone else you see you running after, and you might be like leaping to reach out for Starfire or this situation, but the the portal just disappears instantaneously, and Starfire and Warp are gone.
What? Starfire!
All of you guys, your past versions of yourself, just an instant before, you had seen Starfire tackle Warp into the portal and then disappear. Well, I guess Raven's on the roof still, but everyone else had seen her tackle. Not even just like a couple seconds afterward, another portal opens up a little bit, just slightly away from the other one, and Starfire tumbles through it, and then stumbles to her feet and looks around and sees you all.
Star, are you okay?
I scream.
Yay!
I just go, ah!
Oh god! Did we lose him?
What? Where? Starfire! You went through a portal, and then there's another portal. What?
I sort of shake.
Where'd he go?
I shake myself and I stand up, and then I walk over and I pat Beast Boy's head and I say, Beast Boy, your hair! And I hug him.
You're like, what?
It's like, huh? I like hug her back. I'm like, what is okay?
And then I jump to Robin and I go, Robin, your hair!
Okay.
You're like, what about my hair?
Cyborg, the odor is gone.
Beautiful.
And Raven,
she's not
I
in the
wave
room.
my hand in front of her face.
Well, she's not immediately in the room. She was waiting on the roof to see.
am on the roof.
Yeah, you teleported to the roof and you have the clock.
In that case, I burst through the roof.
She scares the shit out of you.
I scream.
I go, Raven, you are expressive.
Raven looks at her and she's got like that like crosshair red nerve in her forehead.
Come, I must tell you all of the terrible, terrible journey I have gone on.
And you were there. So you guys. Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter. So yeah, you guys, typical, like, return put the clock back where it belongs, and the police will come and take care of things, but you can return to the tower and just tell them all about what happened if you would like.
Yeah, I tell them all about the terrible, terrible journey that I went on and how they all split up and how Beast Boy had no hair and how Robin was cool but kind of had a bad haircut.
What, my hair?
No!
My hair was gone! That's impossible! Look, I'm so hairy! What the hell?
Maybe you do the thing you do in this show, like a cartoon. You're like, I'm bald! And rip your hair out.
Oh no.
And that's where Beast Boy becomes obsessed with like hair creams and
Hair
trying
hygiene. Yeah. Yeah.
You are
What's
not
your
the ball.
routine? Yeah.
my routine.
Yeah.
This is
I
where
don't
we would
know.
have a sponsor for Keep.
I don't know. I don't know anything
Keeps.
about hair growth.
Yeah, so she tells you guys about these future versions of yourself that came and helped her and how they came back together in order to stop them. And also you talk about the things that are on the horizon for this robot invasion, but you guys have a lot more information about it. You know it's coming in early February in a couple in like a month, around a month, and so you know you have a little bit of time to try to stop it. But there's so much information, just all the stuff about how you had changed. Robin, you seem perhaps kind of impressed about some aspects of your future self, at least aesthetically.
Maybe I should grow my hair out.
That's what he says instead of Nightwing, huh?
Nope.
He called himself the Wing Knight.
He called himself Wingnut or some shit. And
Odd change up.
with that is where we close out this episode of Teen Titans Roll.
Wait, wait.
Go
My
ahead.
holiday's been ruined. I try to make them eat the Glorgon dumplings.
Fair enough. Maybe they are convinced after your story of them breaking apart.
Are you guys?
Robin
will eat some.
try the Glorgon
I'll
pumpkin
try 'em.
dumplings?
Rob
I
will
picture
try.
her just chasing the Titans around the like living room in a constant loop, and we're all just running away.
You know what? Okay,
Chibi
let's
style.
do this.
All right, and it's all very sweet, and you all try your friend's thing, and you get sick. The end.
The end.
Cyborg himself cut the roast beef.
Yay!
Yay!
We did
We
it.
did it.
You did
Shoot.
And even a round of combat for good measure.
I always imagined that the future timeline ceased to exist. It was...
Yeah, I mean, you never know what happens, but like, based off everything else that's said, it probably does.
Well, that just got me thinking. What does it mean that Warp is in jail in that future time?
Who knows? It's somebody else's problem.
Has he just been yanked from reality?
Like, who knows what happens to him? Maybe the timeline starts to disappear in some Loki bullshit, and he tries to escape. But I know some time police, cough cough, it's the Legion of Superheroes in this case, would have to redisplace him.
And then there was a tornado.
Stay tuned for our least asked for spinoff, the Warp Problem.
the Warp Problem.
Oh no.
I mean, in either case, you like in the episode, you leave him there as a baby. So
yeah, that's true. So he got possibly reality ganked as a baby in that,
which is even more fucked.
I am concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is. They clearly didn't want to think about it, and it's a kids show, and they don't care. So.
Yep.